Good afternoon, everyone. Just wanted to give you a quick mini lesson on the point purpose of eye charts. What's a quick and easy way to kind of do it? And what I'm expecting when I say that I'd like an eye chart um, put into your writings that you're going to have to submit to me for work. So, first and foremost, okay, happy Thursday. We're on day 3, I think. And I love the whole point and purpose of the live streaming here. Hey, Carlton. It lets me get to chat with you. Like I said, I miss you guys, and you know how much I love to talk. But this also gives me the opportunity, like I said, to answer any questions that you might have about what's going on and so on and so forth. And then, of course, for the purpose of this one being, let's just go over eye charts. Let's make it easy because everyone's so stressed about eye charts, and it really doesn't have to be stressing. I don't want it to be. Eye charts are not meant to, hi, Sanaya, hi, Jazz. They're not meant to be stressing for you guys. They're supposed to be quick, easy, and to the point. And I almost feel like we've been spending so much time on it that we've kind of lost our way on this. So we're going to talk about eye charts. You guys might remember this was my drawing from the other day about Lexile levels. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to mark that off so I can start talking to you about eye charts, right? All right. First and foremost, what is the point of an eye chart, right? The eye chart is meant to help you organize your thoughts before you plop them down in a paragraph. Sometimes I know it's easier to just kind of free write and get your ideas and stuff out. Sometimes that also leads to it being jumbled. It ends up being like a stream of consciousness, which means that whatever you think goes directly onto the paper, and then sometimes it doesn't quite make sense. So the eye chart is used to kind of step in there to help you guys get a little bit of a better understanding of where of what you're putting on the paper so that when someone else reads it, they can understand. So eye chart, right? You guys are familiar with the fact that it's supposed to be intro, body, and conclusion, right? Those are the 3 main sections, right? In your state testing, this is what they're looking for. Can you do intro, body, and conclusion, right? But what does that actually look like? So let's just take an example. Let's pretend that I handed you 2 articles on hand sanitizer, right? And that's kind of appropriate to what's going on, right? I hand you 2 articles on hand sanitizer, and then in the writing prompt, it says something to the effect of, write an argument for or against using hand sanitizer in the classroom. Okay, so this is your writing prompt right here. Write an argument for or against using hand sanitizer in the classroom. All right, I need to somehow take this, turn it into this, and then turn it into paragraphs, right? Here's the thing. This is where your stream of consciousness comes in, and it's only supposed to take you like 5 minutes at max. Eye charts are not meant to be in depth. They're not meant to be super long. They're not meant to be like really hard work. They're meant for you to just take whatever's immediately on your mind and what you want to say, throw it out on the paper, and then organize it as you need to, right? So let's talk about the intro, right? Your intro always starts with a general statement. Okay. A general statement is just a statement that's broad. There's no specifics about it. It should be very, very easy. So for instance, if I made a general statement about hand sanitizer, it would be that hand sanitizer can be found in many places that you see every day, right? That's the sentence. It's a broad general statement. It's not saying one side or the other of this opinion on whether or not I'm for or against hand sanitizer in the classroom. It's just a big, broad statement that just says hand sanitizer can be found everywhere, right? Now, what does that look like on an eye chart versus the sentence? So the sentence is hand sanitizer can be found in many places that you visit every day. That's the full sentence that you would write in the paragraph. In an eye chart, it's meant to just look something like this, very short, right? Hand sanitizer everywhere. You'll notice that this is just my bullet point, right? It's 3 words. It's not a full sentence. If I said this to you, you'd probably look at me like, and the rest of the sentence is where? And that's the point. It's only meant to be shorthand so that I know what the sentence is eventually going to be, and you know what the sentence is eventually going to be. But this is just helping you organize that, right? After you give me your general statement, the next thing you need to do in the next couple of sentences is start talking to me about your opinion. What's your opinion, right? So I've got my general statement, hand sanitizer everywhere. My opinion, yes, I think we should have hand sanitizer in classrooms. One whole word. I put an exclamation mark because I'm excited about it, because I think it's absolutely imperative. And that's kind of like the whole point, right? This eye chart is only meant to be in little tiny bullet points like this. It's not meant to be full written. It's what immediately comes off of your mind. So if I immediately said, well, hand sanitizers everywhere, yeah, I believe we should have it, it's important. My next one here for my next sentence, important. And then I could also put many reasons. Do I have to list the reasons right here? No, not yet, because you're going to be writing that in the paragraph, and that's also going to be in the body of your eye chart. So here's already what I have. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 sentences. And I've taken maybe, like I said, between explaining it to you and explaining it to you and writing it down, maybe 5 minutes. That's my intro pretty much already done. Like I said, if I wanted to add one more, let me just put, here's most important reason. Okay. So now I've figured out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences, because that's what it's supposed to be, between 5 and 6. So there's your bullet points right there, right? Pretty simple, pretty easy. So let's move on, okay? Your body, right? Your body paragraph. It needs to be, okay, body paragraph. Give me your reason, right? Give me the one thing that is your sticking point that you want to talk about, right? If you write more than one body paragraph, which is completely fine, each body paragraph has to focus on a separate reason. You can't put all 5 of your reasons into one paragraph, because it'll be messy and it'll take forever and it'll end up with a whole bunch of run-on sentences, right? So my body, focus on one reason. Okay. Focus on one reason. All right. So let's focus on what I think is the most important reason. Keeps us healthy. Right? And then here's where I elaborate on that. Keeps us healthy. We're going to put the word germs, and then I'm going to put a little circle, and I'm going to put a line through it. See? Gets rid of germs. My next little point is going to be, all right, well, keeps us healthy, gets rid of germs, prevents spread. Prevents spread of what? Anything that you want it to be. Like I said, the whole point of this is that an eye chart's supposed to be a really quick and simple, easy way for you to just write down your thoughts, right? So it keeps us healthy, it gets rid of germs, it prevents the spread of like bacteria and dirt and stuff like that. It's cheap. I can buy it at the dollar store, or I can buy it at Walmart for like 50 cents, 25 cents, something like that, for those little tiny bottles, $1. So it's super cheap and easy to come by. Well, at the moment, I don't know. But we're working on that, right? That's kind of the point. So keeps us healthy, gets rid of germs, prevents the spread of bacteria and stuff. It's very cheap. And like I said, for my last one, I guess, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking cheap, prevents germs. Maybe let's say it's plentiful for now. Let's just assume we're in normal times, okay? It's plentiful. I can get it at Office Depot. I can get it at Walmart. I can get it at Staples. I can get it at Kroger. I can get it at wherever you go shopping, pretty much. Dollar store, Dollar General, doesn't matter. Hand sanitizers everywhere, right? Oh, buddy, turn it back on for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to charge my iPad.
Okay, I still want you to turn back on the light, though, okay? You can charge your iPad in another spot. Thank you. Okay, so this is my body paragraph right here for iChart. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Now I got to go into the conclusion. The conclusion can be your shortest piece. This can be like 2 or 3 sentences. It doesn't need to be long. 2 is just fine. It's just basically the whole point of a conclusion is to sum it up. You're summing it up. You're taking everything that you've talked about here and in your introduction, and you're summing it up, right? This is where you get to just make that jump, that inference that we've been talking about. You've already put all this stuff here. Now we get to make the jump, okay? This is where I get to say, without hand sanitizer, and yes, I'm making it HS for hand sanitizer. It's just short form, remember? Without hand sanitizer, it's going to be bad, right? Short form, right? My sentence could be something that hand sanitizer provides an absolutely critical part of our keeping students and teachers healthy in the classroom environment, right? I said all of that with this little shorthand, right? And then the next thing, I could even end on a question if I wanted to, and I think I will with this one. So it's going to say, what would I do? No, even that, look, see, I'm doing my iChart, so the best thing is I can do this. What would we do, right? So here we've got, for my sum it up, without hand sanitizer, it's going to be bad. And then what would we do without it? Who knows, right?
I know.
Oh, you know, Liam?
Yeah. Germs under your hands.
There you go. Boy knows. So either way, okay. So maybe with me explaining all of this to you, it's like 10, 15 minutes that I've spent now. But the whole point of this is it's not even supposed to take that long. This is you without explaining it to anyone else but you on a piece of paper, right? You've just got your body paragraph, your conclusion here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then if you include the introduction, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You've got 12 sentences there. That's 3 paragraphs and 3 sections that are very, very easily done and finished and so on and so forth. So don't make it hard on yourselves. iCharts are not meant to be hard. They're meant to organize your thoughts and what you're thinking, right? Now, let me say one more thing, okay? Once you've finished your iChart, like I said, you've taken the 5 minutes to just jot down what you think you're going to write. Go back and read it, okay? If it makes sense logically in this order, fantastic, leave it as it is. If it doesn't make sense, this is your opportunity to fix it, okay? The whole point of the iChart is for you to go and say, okay, I really like where these are, but I'd like to switch where these 2 are because it'll make more sense if I talk about it being cheap and then plentiful, right? The whole point of an iChart is for you to organize your thoughts. So if you don't like the way that something's coming out, don't use it, change it, right? This is for you to get it all together before you go and write it down as paragraphs, right? Go sit down, please.
Mommy?
So, yes, sir.
So Is there another charging spot around here?
Yeah, buddy. Go
Where?
into the other room.
To the other
Yeah,
room?
go into the other room. You know where it is.
The kitchen?
No, into the art room. Go into the art room.
Oh.
Goofball.
Oh, Mom.
Liam, I'm on live.
Mom.
Go now.
Yeah, Mom.
Thank you. Okay. So so eye chart, now that you've gotten it done, you have your intro, your body, and your conclusion. That's it. Don't make it hard. This is where you go into the paragraphs, right? This is where you go and write down your paragraphs. Okay? Does this all make sense to you? Does anybody have any questions about what you should be putting on here, what it needs to look like? I know specifically your first set of readings that you have to do are something that we got, I think it's called Summer Shift, and then that's California Lee and Me. And let me, if you give me like 5 seconds, I'll actually pull up the writing prompt and we can kind of just start walking through it. But only if you guys want. If you feel like you want to do it on your own, that's fine. I don't have to walk you through it. But just don't overthink it. Okay. It's not meant to be overthought. It's not meant to be, something that's hurting your brain. Eye chart is just meant for your organization. So let's take a look here. Hold on. Let's see. See, I'm on Google Classroom on my phone right now. Let's see. News ELA articles, eye chart. Let's see. PDF. Let's see. Okay. Dealing with change. Here we go. All right. Like I said, you'll have to forgive me. I don't know it off the top of my head. Okay. It says, Hetty in passage 1 and the speaker in passage 2 are both facing change in their lives. Write a multi-paragraph response in which you analyze how Hetty and the speaker of the poem respond to change. Your response must be based on ideas and information that can be found in both the story and the poem. Be sure to include an introduction. Use evidence from the passages to support your explanation. Avoid overly relying on the passage and include a conclusion. Organize your thoughts with an eye chart on a blank piece of paper. Then write your response in the space provided below. Okay. So with this one, they're specifically asking you, thank you. When you get a writing prompt, first thing you need to do is actually look at what are they specifically asking you to do. In this case, when it says write a multi-paragraph response, multi-paragraph could just be those 3, the introduction, the body, and the conclusion, right? Doesn't need to be any more than that. Don't overthink it, okay? Then it says in which you analyze how Hetty and the speaker of the poem respond to change. They're asking you to tell whoever you're writing to for this writing response. So in this case, it's me. They're asking you to tell me, how do Hetty and the speaker in the poem both respond to change, right? They could respond in different ways. They can respond in similar ways or in the same way. So in this case, like I said, after you have read all of this, you need to start talking about how did they respond, right? So an eye chart for this might look, like I said, please don't plagiarize mine. I would appreciate if you guys come up with your own ideas, all right? But in essence, when you sit down and you say, okay, I got to put together an eye chart, right? First thing you're going to do, write your intro, body, conclusion, okay? Write that. Intro, body, conclusion. Remember, when we're writing each of these sections, each one of them asks for something specific, right? The intro wants you to give a general statement, and then excuse me, I can't talk today. The intro wants a general statement, and then it wants you to tell what your opinion is. The body asks for that reason, right, to support your opinion and to support that. And specifically in the writing prompt here that we gave you, it says use examples from the reading, okay, from both of the readings, not just one, both, right? And then the conclusion here wants you to sum it all up, right? So first things first, write down intro, body, conclusion. Okay. Next, just go ahead and put some dashes. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm doing the minimum because I don't want to write a ton. I don't know about you guys. I'm not much of a writer. I don't like to write a ton. So you can do the minimum. It's acceptable. Just know that when you're doing the minimum, what you write is really important. It's really, really important because you have less space to write and to completely fulfill the writing prompt, right? And then here down on the conclusion, you're only going to, like I said, I'm only going to put 2 because I don't want to write the full amount. So for the intro, it's got to be a general statement. And remember, you need to keep focused on the fact that we're asking about how do they respond to change? So first thing I'm going to write, change is inevitable. Okay, that's my little thing here. Change is inevitable. What that means is that change is always going to happen. We don't have a say in it, right? So that's what my first sentence is going to be. It's my broad, open, general statement. Next, my opinion, right? What I specifically want to focus on. Okay, characters both respond to change. How? Well, this is where I get to go back into my reading and I say, okay, California Lee and me. All right, well, let's see. Hold on. Magazine. I got the part. Okay, so we're talking about someone getting the part in a movie. The movie came out and she was busy all the time, right? She moved to Los Angeles with her family. Whenever she reminded her of her bubbly best friend, she added to the video. Okay, so she's creating this video for her best friend that has left, right? So she responds to change by setting her feelings out about every time that she sees her friend, like in a commercial or something like that, right? So that is Hetty's response, right? And then in the summer shift, it specifically says, we packed our bags in June. I braced for summer of impossible goodbyes and the dread of life without friends. To chase away the fear, she says specifically, I flipped through a dictionary and picked out the word hush and thought about the whisper of wind rustling through leaves come next autumn and the silence of their falling. Then I jumped into a soft pile of them, grabbed an armful of red, gold, and burnt orange beauties, tossed them in the air, and I was all right again for a while. And I went back to packing for the move. Okay, so in the one story, someone's putting together a video, right? And the other one is in her own mind, creating like a response of something that would make her happy. So what this might look like here, for my opinion, is both do something creative, right? To deal with change. And then from here, here's where I can actually start putting in some of my own thoughts and opinions, because we're not actually going to touch like true text evidence until we get into the body. So this is where I get to say, okay, so change is inevitable. Both Hetty and the author from the poem, the speaker in the poem, did something creative. Liam James. Stop. Thank you. So they both did something creative. And then the next thing they did here, for me, I'm going to say that creativity helps clear your mind. So I'm putting in helps clear mind. And then the next thing I'm going to write is good for the soul, right? I'm just adding on to it. I'm not saying anything really specifically, this is where I'm going to transition into my body, where I'm going to specifically talk about how they did it, right? Specifically used outputs. Okay, and what I mean is like creative outputs and stuff like that. I know that in my head because I'm going to write that in my paragraphs when I get to, right?
Yeah.
My body paragraph here, it's going to now say, okay, Hetty and the speaker in the poem, Hetty and speaker thought. Okay, so their response to change was the first thing they did was they sat down and thought about what they wanted to do, right? And I know this now. Guess what? Your text evidence counts as a sentence. So I'm going to do a little bit of my quotations. You remember how to do these? Quote. You can write a little bit of the sentence, do an ellipses, ... end quote. Okay, so in this case, I want to use something that Hetty said. Hetty says, let's see. Oh, here we go. So in the 12th little section on here, it says throughout the day, whenever she saw something that reminded her of her bubbly best friend, she added it to the video. So now I'm just going to put, here's my ellipses because I'm starting in the middle of the sentence. She added it ... that, right? Because I'm not trying to make this hard. I know where it is. To remind myself, I might actually put 12 here to remind myself where I got that so that I can repeat it when I go to my paragraphs, right? And then I'm going to move on. I'm going to say, okay, the video was her creative output, right? I just put video was output. And then here for the speaker, now after I'm done talking about Hetty for the first one, the next one I could talk about is the speaker. And the speaker thinks about leaves. And so what I'm going to put here, because I'm putting text evidence, right? This is on, and this one's split into lines because it's a poem. So the line says, flip through dictionary, and that's on line 5, 6, 7, 8. So on line 8, flipped through ... on line 8. So I'm reminding myself, right? And then I can talk about how the speaker, how she leaves must comfort her, right? So I just put that, leaves must comfort, right? If I wanted to add some more, which I can, you would just go underneath and add. If you need to, you can erase like the conclusion section if you're using a pencil or something like that. That's fine. In my case, I'm not going to, because the next part of this is where I actually go and sum it up anyways. So in a conclusion here, I'm just going to say for a sum, and again, remember, we're just running through this quickly. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be extensive. The whole point of the eye chart is to organize your thoughts, right? So the conclusion here could say something to the effect of both use art, right? And to them, and it's not necessarily like they're drawing or they are painting or anything like that kind of art. To them, it could be just an artistic output, you know, like the video for Hetty. And then for the speaker, she's thinking about things that make her feel, you know, better. So she's thinking about autumn, you know, she's just a form of art in her mind. You know, she's creating these beautiful landscapes to help calm her nerves because she's saying goodbye to her friends over the summer, right? So we've got both use art, and then here's where I get to kind of close it up, and I make my inference where I'm saying, okay, here's why, you know, here's why I would do that in this case. So art helps, helps to heal. Art helps to heal, right? So this is what a potential eye chart could look like for your passages here. And this is kind of what I'm expecting you to write. I looked at that, and that maybe took me about 10 minutes for me to do total. And so, and then, like I said, that's because I was sitting here and I was trying to explain it to you. This probably would have taken me 5 minutes had I just sat down and just written it out, right? And in here, I've also included some text evidence where I've also reminded myself of where I can find this stuff so that when I go to write the actual paragraphs, then I already have what I want to talk about here on my eye chart to go put into my paragraphs, okay? So anyways, does anybody have any questions or thoughts about what you're seeing here? Anybody thoughts? I'm here on the chat. Like I said, you're welcome to email me. Either way works. Hopefully this will be really, really easy for you in the future. And I hope this answers some of your questions concerning your eye charts for your assignments that you have coming up due. Okay. So like I said, if you have any questions or whatnot, please feel free to email me. Please feel free to ask later on. I'll be going live again tomorrow, as you know. So then you guys can ask more questions if it didn't quite work out for you, or if you're not sure exactly what it needs to look like still, and we can do some more examples and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. Well, if no one has any other questions or any thoughts or whatnot, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. All right. I miss you guys, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Okay. Be good.